Well, let's stay with that story and talk to Joshua Mahony. He's Chief Market Analyst at financial services company Scope Markets. Good to see you again, Joshua. So looking at Nvidia, earnings, revenue and sales figures all positive, if not perhaps as much as expected. Are investors right to be concerned about Nvidia?
I mean, look, clearly this stock was priced to perfection. It's interesting because we often talk about the idea of market expectations and do we beat them, do we miss them? And for a company like this that has run up so much in terms of its share price, and we have such experience of them outperforming expectations, it's almost a case of, yes, they've beat on revenues, yes, they've beat on earnings, but they have to do so by such a wide margin to really embolden the markets because they're used to them beating each time. This time around, really people were picking the bones through the numbers, a tiny miss in terms of data center revenues, and then, of course, a big focus on the China business. But by and large, the numbers were good. They continue to grow. And so that's why the initial 5% decline has now turned into something like 1.8% downside.
Well, let's talk about that China business. Obviously, the country, a huge market for Nvidia. Nvidia already creating a new product to continue exporting there despite restrictions. How far could it go to carry on exporting its products there?
I mean, look, they took roughly 13% of their business from China previously. That figure is now 0, and the worrying sign is that they're not necessarily putting a number on it for the future quarter. That clearly is a headwind for the company to be able to attain their targets when it comes to growth. But it can become a tailwind if they get Donald Trump on side and if they manage to get the Chinese to agree to take the chip. The H20 chip was blocked by Donald Trump's administration, and then by the time he allowed it to pass through and he took a 15% cut, the Chinese said, well, in actual fact, we don't want it anyway. So there's talk in the aftermath of today's earnings that actually Nvidia are in talks with Trump's administration to be able to allow the Blackwell chip to be sent to China. That would be a big deal. Certainly, it seems like they want to talk money, and they're saying, if the likes of Donald Trump can agree to send it, we'll give you a percentage of those sales. Whether Trump's going to say yes to that or not remains to be seen.
So this is already a $4 trillion company, isn't it? How big can it get?
I mean, it's difficult to put a number on it, quite frankly. You know, that number was 1 trillion just 2 years ago. And unfortunately, the law of sort of big numbers means that it's easier to get a 30% return when you're a, say, $1 trillion company than when you are a $4 trillion company. It's got to slow down in terms of the pace of growth at some point, and we are seeing that. And so certainly people then question the valuations and the multiples attached to the company as a result. But certainly each time around it continues to grow, it continues to outperform expectations. And until we see that stop, I think markets are, despite the blips like we're seeing today, the markets are likely to continue to buy this stock.
Joshua, thank you very much for coming on the programme. Joshua Mahony from Scope Markets.